It appears that Tesla FSD subscription discount is imminent. Let's go through all of today's Tesla stock news. Troy says it looks like Tesla might be considering lowering the price of full self-driving from $200 a month to $100. I think this would be quite popular. In fact, I ran a survey in May of 2021, 2 months before Tesla introduced the FSD subscription option, and $99 was the most popular option. And Sawyer just ran a survey himself as well very recently, and the results were basically the same. People think $99 a month is a better price. And just now, Sawyer actually ran one more poll because people said, well, obviously everyone would just choose the lowest option, give them an option with $1, and people will vote for that. But that's not the case. The result was $99 per month is better than $79 per month. It also depends on how the question is worded. What should Tesla's monthly FSD subscription cost in the US be? So this is more aimed at investors, obviously, just like Sawyer's previous poll, but Troy's poll was more aimed at how much would you pay for FSD. The reason why Troy thinks that Tesla might lower the price of FSD subscriptions is because Elon Musk liked a post from Yashu. If Tesla lowered FSD subscription price to $99 a month, I bet it would get a 25% take rate or higher. Now, if Tesla lowers the subscription price, I don't think that would be a bad move. I think if Tesla needs to increase the price later or experiment or split test, it can certainly do so later. So it's not like if we lower the price to $100 now, it's going to stay there forever. Tesla could also just say, hey, we're doing this for the next 6 months. And perhaps those that subscribe right now, when the price increases, the increase for them would be lower, so therefore they would save money or something like that. Tesla could also use incentives like that. But of course, the top priority for Tesla is not necessarily to lower the price of FSD, it is to make FSD much better, which is exactly what Tesla is doing right now. The number one reason why it could make sense for Tesla to lower the price is the more people that use FSD, the more data Tesla gets to solve autonomy quicker. Lowering the cost will likely increase the amount of people that use it quite substantially once the free trial period is over. But can Tesla just collect data in the shadow mode, for example? Well, it can, but the useful data is also that includes disengagements. And the more people use FSD, the more Tesla knows where people disengage and what Tesla needs to do. And to me, it now seems that it is quite inevitable that Tesla is actually going to lower the price of FSD, because Elon also liked another post, this time from Troy, which states that Tesla should lower it down to about $100 a month. Yeah, James agrees too. He thinks it's happening. I agree with Steven. Once autonomy is solid, the discussion around price and take rates over the short term will become entirely irrelevant. When FSD enables robotaxis, the economics change from cool feature to a money printer, and FSD will be priced accordingly. I cannot stress enough how little I care about anything that is not the awakening of the robotaxis, which will make Tesla's entire business look like a rounding error, and everyone will quickly forget all the non-robotaxi discussion that was taking place today. I think Tesla's EV business and the car business, and to some degree the energy business, that's just a safety net for Tesla stock to not go down in the long term. It's like my insurance policy, but where I see the returns is in the autonomy and robotaxis and FSD subscriptions and people buying FSD for their own personal use, which then further drives volumes for the auto business. FSD is making a lot of progress. It is coming. It is happening. It's inevitable. It's only a question of when exactly. I think when it comes to FSD pricing, AJ has the best stake for what the price should be right now. I think Tesla should lower/increase FSD subscription price to whatever creates the optimal relationship between available edge case data volume and available compute processing time. Too low a price and Tesla cannot take advantage of the available data, but too high a price and Tesla cannot curate an optimal edge case dataset for available compute, taking into account highest feasible rate of progress. And if Tesla really starts making crazy fast progress with FSD, then we will need a lot of data to show to regulators, hey, look, FSD is safe, and here's the progress that we are making. And the biggest FSD-related catalyst in the near medium term is not robotaxi, because Tesla is still very far away from autonomy, in my opinion, says James. It is what FSD working well enough as a highly effective level 2 driver assistance software can do for the brand, driving the association to high tech, futuristic, cool factor, and all the associated benefits of this. And of course, we retail Tesla stock investors will see far into the future the moment it gets to a point where it's almost as good or as good as a human driver. Don't you think that many investors are not going to increase their Tesla stock positions? I mean, I think I'm in the minority, sort of, being an all-in investor in my stock portfolio. And even I could sell real estate, for example, to buy more Tesla stock if the price dropped down like crazy. Omar predicts that the price of FSD will probably be dropped to $99 a month and $49 a month for enhanced autopilot users before the free trial is over. I think it would especially increase the conversion rates if Tesla somehow makes it clear that, oh, this is just a 7-day or 14-day promotion. Lock in your price now for the next 12 months. Elon replied to this post, I've decided to start calling this the Turing test. If your passengers can't tell whether it's you or the car that's driving, it passes. In this case, it did pass. For James Dalma, it also passed. I did this maybe 3 days ago. It didn't pass, unfortunately, but I just had bad luck with that particular drive. If the drive is under maybe 12 minutes, I think it would pass about 1/3 of the time in my case. Ray finally downloaded the latest FSD version, v12.3.4, last night. He tried it just now, and it was a bit too slow in parking lots, overly cautious, but kind of aggressive on city streets. He disengaged it twice before reaching an intersection with dips because his car didn't slow down. He's in Southern California. And here's someone else having similar issues. The amount of data that Tesla is collecting right now is preposterous. 125 gigabytes in the last week just from this one vehicle, and 725 gigabytes in the last month. If it's doing it over your Wi-Fi and you don't have very fast internet, you're gonna notice your internet being a bit slower than usual. But maybe it just does it all at night, so in that case, you wouldn't notice anything. Tesla has launched all new Model S Plaid sport seats in North America. All Model S Plaids built from April 1st come standard with the new sport seats. They look pretty good, I like them. Also, the rear seats have the color and material to match the front seats. And this is specifically Model S Plaid. Maybe Model 3 Ludicrous will also have something like this, but we don't really know for sure. But I think it's likely to have something similar. And these seats will certainly help to absorb Model S Plaid's insane power. If you remember, the Model 3 Performance Ludicrous was spotted before with sort of similar seats. But this was a while ago, so things could change for the Model 3. Not only is lateral support increased, but the seats are also lighter, which makes the car a bit faster. I mean, it's gonna be a tiny increase, but it's an increase. The car is insanely fast already, so I don't think anyone will really notice a speed increase. But yeah, before I did see some people complain about Model S Plaid seats when cornering. These seats didn't hug you, and I saw a few people complain about that, so this is going to solve that issue. James says, I like that Tesla is still investing in the flagship vehicles. Tesla owners are loyal and can trade up. Having strong flagship vehicles adds a brand appeal, which helps the other vehicles in the lineup. The Model S and X are important. First off, they are extremely good vehicles and better than 3 and the Y in many ways. It's important to give 3 and Y buyers something to upgrade up to. Otherwise, they have to look at other brands. Therefore, Tesla would lose some customers. And staying in the Tesla ecosystem is preferable, but in reality, Tesla could delete the Model S and the X and it wouldn't really make much of a difference to Tesla overall. And if we want people to stay in the Tesla ecosystem in the very long term, Tesla definitely needs more models. Tesla would then need to cover every single price point. Here are all the BEV sales ranked by total units sold in Q1 of this year, and Tesla is number 1, of course, BYD is number 2, but Volkswagen is number 3, and BMW is actually number 4. Not bad for a luxury car maker. How come Ford is so behind? They are not really a luxury vehicle maker. Interestingly, Porsche sales are down. But the most interesting one is Toyota. It grew 86% year over year, but that's really easy to do when you sell almost 39 BEVs per day. Tesla sells more per day than Toyota does in a whole quarter. Here are Tesla sales broken down by region, and you can see that the rest of the world is actually doing fairly well, 18.5% higher year over year. North America is still the largest region for Tesla despite the largest year over year decline. Ross says people should consider that transportation becomes a commodity with many robotaxi players. Maybe there will be little money to be made operating taxis, robotaxis. I think that's going to be true in year 2100. Yeah, definitely. But in the first 5 years of robotaxis, no, I think Tesla is gonna dominate. And the hype around Tesla stock is going to be huge because the earnings will also be impressive. We have an update here. Tesla seems to have already hired prototype vehicle operators in several US states. So in Florida, Georgia, and Virginia. Most Tesla stock investors Gary speaks with agree with Dan Ives on this. Tesla's robotaxi is not the answer for the growth gap. He has a new Tesla stock node out. While the robotaxi marks an exciting announcement, Ives doesn't expect full autonomy, including models with no steering wheels, until 2030 and believes it is crucial to deliver a cheaper vehicle over the next 18 months. Wedbush estimates that about 60% of Tesla's growth over the next few years will come from a cheaper car, which was set to hit the roads by late 2025 or early 2026. Dan Ives says that Tesla's future is a bit murky now and that Musk needs to provide a clear roadmap and strategic vision for the street at the company's upcoming first quarter results. For Tesla stock to do really well in the long term, autonomy does not need to be solved very quickly. It's fine if it gets solved in 2030 or even a little bit later. If it cannot be solved sooner, it's because it really isn't quite possible for anyone else to do it. Tesla will be the first to solve it using the vision approach, and that will scale the fastest. Tesla by far has the most data and the best engineers who work on this kind of thing. So if Tesla doesn't solve it first with the vision only approach, is because it's not possible to do it sooner. And the value here is who is going to do first. That's where the value for FSD and robotaxis is. Now, of course, if Tesla solves FSD, let's say in 2030, then some of the services that rely on LiDAR will have scaled a little bit by then, but they will still be so expensive that it won't make all that much sense to scale that technology. A Waymo autonomous car, for example, costs well over $100,000 to build. And then you need people with HD maps running around the city trying to map out every single inch. And if someone changes a stop sign and forgets to put it in the HD map, then the car cannot drive. Look at this, for example. The autonomous vehicle went through a place that it had no business entering. You cannot rely just on HD maps. Well, this is great news. Hertz is running ads on Facebook encouraging people to rent Teslas from its fleet. So free advertising for Tesla. Free paid advertising for Tesla. Some bad news for Ford. NTSB finds Ford's Blue Cruise was active in fatal Mach-E crash. This is why Europe does not like having BYD. Over the last 8 years, BYD received 2.4 billion in direct Chinese government subsidies reflected in BYD's other income statement line. And in 2023, this subsidy reached an all-time high of $654 million in a single fiscal year. To put this in perspective, had Tesla received a subsidy of the same relative magnitude relative to Tesla's earnings, Tesla would have received 4.9 billion. And Electric 2 covered the story. It said China gave BYD an incredible 3.7 billion to win the EV race. This is according to a new German study, and I think this is actually a really smart move by the Chinese government. They know EVs are the future, so why cannot we make our company one of the world's top EV makers? It's pretty smart. The Ark Invest venture fund has invested in OpenAI. I put emphasis on the word invested, not donated. In the meantime, I'm not upset about this one. We can let them have this one. China dominates US in bid for hydrogen transportation supremacy. BYD makes $1,250 in profit per car sold as it goes for market share above all else. However, that's across all vehicles, and it's likely that they are losing money on pure BEVs. Their strategy is all about taking market share and building economies of scale to dominate the market. It's long-term thinking, and that's good thinking, actually. I agree with their strategy, especially when you have the support of the Chinese government. Is BYD a threat to Tesla, though? I don't think so, and I agree with that. Taking into account the additional value a Tesla provides and the extra margin Tesla gets, the companies are about equally competitive with one exception. BYD says FSD is impossible. If Tesla solves that problem, and it will, then Tesla could give the cars away and still earn a profit on them. Literally, BYD won't be able to do it. Well, BYD will be able to license FSD tech from Tesla if it wants to, which will make even more money for Tesla. Rivian stock hit a new all-time low today and is now down 95% from its all-time high in November 2021. A moment of silence for everyone who made an investment into Rivian in November of 2021 and are still holding on to it. And the market cap is now well under 10 billion at 9 billion. It's exactly $9 billion, and the stock price is $9.20. What are the chances, do you think, that it's gonna go down to $4.20? I think the chances are not low. Rivian, though, does make a pretty good truck. And I think for that makes sense here. In my opinion, Rivian needs to be acquired by someone like Apple for long-term survival. The brand is ultra strong and they have great products, but they need a hell long runway before they can become a viable business. Sandy Munro has a new video about the Cybertruck. They are doing a teardown on the battery pack. He said, "I think I know why now they took so long to get this truck out. I think a lot of people put a lot of thought into everything they did. I'm just really impressed." And when you get a compliment from Sandy Munro, you know it's a genuine compliment, so that means a lot. Also, Sandy Munro thinks the extra space in the Cybertruck battery pack is for gas to escape and added battery impact protection in case you hit a rock or something off-roading. It never looked like enough space for another row of cells. Maybe yes, but perhaps enough space for a larger cell. For example, a cell that's 40% taller.
This and this are kind of unique because here we've got this standoff, and this is an off-road vehicle. So in off-roading, anybody that's done that knows that sooner or later you're going to run over a log or a big rock, and it's going to bang into the bottom of your floor. And when that happens, you're going to have a dent. You're never going to pierce it, but you'll definitely get a dent. This looks like about 25 millimeters, plus another, I don't know, six or 7 millimeters over there. So what you're looking at is over 32, I think 32, 33 millimeters of crush zone that I've never seen anybody do before, but I think is brilliant. I'm looking at some things that are similar to what we saw in the past, and other things that I am totally baffled at. This is a crash zone, and this gap is to prevent intrusion from a side impact. You can see by the outside circles, these are 4680s for sure. I have no idea how they made it so nice and smooth, but I'm guessing that on top here you've got some sort of a mica or something cover, and what they've done is they've pressed it down, wiped it off, and that's where these little green spots are coming through. I want to tell all those people who are worried about me getting, dying because I don't have gloves on. If we look up here, there's this green seafoam green foam that's over the top of this, and then underneath you can see that orange-looking plate. That's a chunk of plastic. There's energy contacts underneath there. But in order to get a shock, I'd have to be able to have all that seafoam taken off, those plastic things taken off from there, and then I'd have to have these all removed with the seafoam gone and the bus bar available. And then I would have to reach from here all the way over to there in order to get contact, and that's the only way you can get any kind of a major poke. If I really wanted to die, I suppose if I could reach all the way over to there, and that was uncovered, and this was uncovered, then I could get the full potential of the battery.
I like this sort of design because eventually these batteries are going to go someplace where someone will need to take them apart and recycle, and this seriously minimizes any chance of injury.
So once we get dug into this area, we'll be able to definitively determine how many there are per row, but it looks like 48 if there isn't one hidden under here. So that would be 48 times 7 rows, and 4 of those collectively would give you the total number of cells.
So we should be looking at about 1,344 battery cells.
They're glued in place in such a way where you could not remove them as a module, at least not in any sort of normal way, and let alone replace that module.
Truly a structural module.
So the idea would be the bottom of the cell is the vent. If a cell were to let loose in a thermal runaway situation, the bottom of the cell would push out, it would poke through this mica top. You can see that it's mica, and it's very brittle. The bottom of that cell will push right through it like it's nothing. And that being the case, that turns this whole area into a vent trough, if you will. And in the Model Y, we had these little plastic ABS pieces that provided that same functionality. That's gone. Ventilation capacity is a big thing in battery design. When a battery starts to go into thermal runaway, it's like, you know, hundreds of Roman candles that go off in a sequence.
At the end of the day, we're very impressed with many of the features, all the features actually, that we've located so far in this vehicle. Like I say, the way this thing has been put together and the way that it's been treated differently than all the other Teslas that we've seen, because this is an off-road car, or an off-road truck, I should say. So I'm pretty impressed. I think so far we haven't seen anything that went horribly wrong or something that needs to be brought to the attention of Tesla people. But so far this has been one little adventure after another. I think I know why now it took so long to get this truck out. I think that a lot of people put a lot of thought into everything that they did, and I don't know. I'm just really impressed so far.
And there were a few other little things that I did not include in this video from Sandy Munro's video, and Sandy, of course, is quite impressed, which is really good news for us Tesla stock investors. Omar just did an 83-minute drive with 0 input, so no interventions at all, on 12.3.4 from Beverly Hills. That's pretty impressive. CATL unveils a Tesla Megapack competitor, claims 0 degradation and more capacity. There's no word on pricing yet though, which is what really matters. I expected competition to come, so this is exactly as expected. Someone parked a gas-powered vehicle in an EV parking spot. I'm not quite sure if this vehicle is fully blocked. Maybe yes, maybe not. They can probably maybe get out if they spend a few minutes, but certainly, I mean, you deserved it. If you parked here, you deserve to get your vehicle blocked. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Thank you so much for watching.